Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now last night I was up late, very late indeed, and I was just about to head to bed around about 4 o'clock in the morning when suddenly this dropped. A brand new cinematic from Blizzard expanding on the story which has been happening in Battle for Azeroth so far. Some may argue not a very good story at all. So this cinematic is made very much like the cinematic that was released at BlizzCon. It's done with that same very high production FMV, and it looks, as you can see on the screen, just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to just briefly go through what the cinematic actually means, the symbolism in it and all that kind of jazz, and then we're going to have a little bit of a further discussion about it and a wee bit of a spoiler discussion about what's going to happen when the Horde, when the Alliance attack the Undercity this coming week after the reset, because that is actually very important to all the motivations when you've started to place these pieces of story together. Do they make sense, etc, etc, etc. So first things first, we see this first shot. This is in Northrend. This is taking place in Wrath of the Lich King. This is when we've just defeated Saurfang Jr. in Icecrown Citadel. He was the fourth boss, I think. Fourth boss in Icecrown Citadel, and it completes the first chunk of bosses. What happens in the story itself, Saurfang turns up. He then says, I will fight you all. If you're a member of the Alliance, anyway, I'll fight you all if you don't let me take my son. Varian says, look, dude, take your son. We've got no problem with it. Jaina gets very emotional. She's very proud of Varian's actions. Saurfang takes his son away on the airship. We don't see what happens. This is what happens. He takes his son somewhere. It's clearly still at Northrend with the snow and whatnot. And we can see a father grieving over the loss of his son. It's very important that we set this part up because there is a lot of juxtaposition in this cinematic, which I'll get to. There's lots of polar opposites. Polling opposites? Has anyone gone to the voting booths? So we then cut to this just glorious shot. I mean, this is a beautiful cinematic. Regardless of how you feel about anything else, you know, Sylvanas' motivations, if you're pissed off about all that kind of jazz, this cinematic is nothing really to do with that, in as much as it focuses on Saurfang, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful stuff. So Saurfang's looking over the battlements. This, of course, is the Undercity. This is Lordaeron, the ruins of Lordaeron. He's looking over the battlements, and in front of him, he has the Alliance army, looking like a bit of a boss. And then he's joined by a young troll soldier. And this is where we get our first major piece of juxtapositioning. Saurfang, the whole cinematic is called Old Soldier. Saurfang is a veteran who is coming to the end of his warring life, so to speak. The troll, the young troll boy, this is his first battle. He has yet to be tested in battle. And what is very clear is Saurfang, with the events of Darnassus and Teldrassil, has this bitter regret about what's happening, whereas, again, juxtaposed, the troll boy is full of the Kool-Aid. He's full of, for the Horde, for honor, to die in battle is glorious. He's full of all those doctrines which have been placed into his ear. But Saurfang's seen too much in his lifetime. He understands, no, I'm not going to throw Blizzard's words back at them. Oh, okay, I'm going to throw Blizzard's words back at them. He understands that there are shades of grey, and nothing is black and white. At least as black as white as who destroys Darnassus and Teldrassil. So we get a nice little cut of the boy and Saurfang looking out over the battlements. You can see the horror in the boy's eyes. And he's just like, how many do you think there are? And Saurfang's like, Too many, because there's a lot. We then cut to a flashback of Sylvanas by Teldrassil, Teldrassil burning. Now that we don't have a stylized cinematic for it, and we have, relatively realistic cinematic for this, it does look very much more graphic. And you do get a better understanding of just exactly what level of devastation was wrought here. And then we see Saurfang, which we didn't see last week. So this is filling in pieces that we've already seen, but adding more. Naughty. We see Saurfang saying to Lady Sylvanas that there was no honour in this. They will come for us. All of them. And he's absolutely right. Again, this harkens to the crazy decision by Sylvanas to do this. Because Darnassus is in Kalimdor. It's in the Horde stronghold, where the vast majority of the Horde forces reside. They're on home territory. The Alliance are going to come for Lordaeron. They're going to come for Sylvanas in the Undercity, because she still resides in the Undercity, even though she's the War Chief. Eastern Kingdoms is the Alliance's territory. They are going to be vastly outnumbered. They are going to be overwhelmed on that continent. Again, kind of highlighting, folks, all the people that are arguing that this was a calculated decision. This was not a calculated decision. And then we physically see the extent of the Alliance forces. I really like this shot. Number one, because it just looks gorgeous. You've got the amazing dawn beginning to break in the background. You have all the Alliance siege towers and the Alliance forces. R.I.P. Brill. It looks great, but there's one thing that really, and I think it's for World of Warcraft fans, and it just made me go, I thought it was quite cool. Look, over here we have the transport towers. The transport tower for Orgrimmar, and then the transport tower over here for the Eastern Kingdom. Stranglethorn is being hidden behind there. So I just think that is just such a wonderful little touch. I think it's a great little touch, and well done, Blizz. You gave me a bit of a giggle there in a very serious cinematic, so well done indeed. So what's happening is Saurfang is stripping himself of his Horde identity. He's removing his pauldrons. He's removing his neck brace. He's removing the piece of the Horde medallion, which we find out later he actually took from his son's body. This right here. This is a what looks like a tusk, possibly a tooth, that's been chiseled and then had the Horde symbol placed inside of it. And we also find out that Saurfang is obviously grieving for the loss of his son, but he fell in battle. He fell in honourable combat. Saurfang is old. He has yet to die, possibly because he's too good. He's too good to die. And he laments the fact that he's an old orc and has yet to fall in combat. It feels very Klingon in ideology. It feels very Klingon that, it is glorious to die in battle with honour and have that sort of hero's death than to grow old and die of old age. That very, very, obvious similarities between there. And then we have this very touching picture of him holding his son one last time, and then giving a bit of a Darth Vader no. So after he stripped himself of his Horde identity, because he regrets what happens, he has flashbacks to the burning of Teldrassil. He has flashbacks to the screams of the Night Elves dying, being burnt alive, being massacred. The innocents. These aren't soldiers. These are innocents. They're women. They're children. They're non-combatants. Sounds very sick. They're men, who are just not soldiers. Saurfang's thing is, if you're a soldier, I'll fight you. If you're not a soldier, no, because we have no beef with each other. That's a very basic way of saying it. And it's clear that at the moment, Saurfang believes that it is the Horde that has let him down. That's why he takes the Horde symbol off. It is the Horde that has let him down. He no longer believes in the Horde because of what happened at Teldrassil. And he's going to go out, strip himself down with his axe, and he's just going to run into the Alliance. Essentially, he's going to run into the Alliance camp and just start hacking them down until he eventually gets killed. And that is it. He wants to go out with honor. He wants to go out fighting. So he goes outside, and then the boy joins him with the best haircut of the trolls and the best colour of the hair, best haircut of the trolls that is available in the game. So the boy joins him, and Saurfang tells him to go home, go back to your father, because the boy talks about how his father told stories of Saurfang, how Saurfang would cut down 10 people with one blow, and all these glorious stories of what Saurfang had done in his past. And he's like, and this boy is just like, I'll come with you. He's like, go back to your father. And he's like, I can't. My father's dead. So again, we have another juxtaposition. Young soldier, dead father. Saurfang, old soldier, dead son. So again, we have all these polar opposites between these two people. And then the boy imparts his wisdom. Because there is nothing here in this cinematic which is hinting at any sort of sympathy for the Alliance in particular. There's nothing in this cinematic which says, oh no, our Horde is bad, ergo your Alliance must be good, we is going to join you in it. No, they are still opposed to the Alliance and the Alliance ideology, but they believe, or Saurfang believes, that the Horde is what's let him down. The boy believes that the Horde is all they have to hold them together. And these are the words which resonate with Saurfang, because Saurfang then realises, yes, it's not the Horde that's let me down, it's the person who's at the head of it, which is Sylvanas. I still believe in the Horde. I still believe in the Horde ideology. I don't believe in who is leading us. And that is very important indeed. So we get a little bit of a rallying cry between Saurfang. Why I want to call him Sylvanas, I don't know. I've got her on the brain. I wish I had her on the... And he goes back to the Undercity once the horn blows, battle's commencing, dawn has arrived. The siege engines start moving forward, firing their ballistas or whatever. And he realizes, yes, I will fight for the Horde, but I've realized that my beef isn't with them, it is with Sylvanas. So it's a very nice, very beautiful, constructed piece of cinematic Marvel. It's just beautiful. It tells a great little story. Hey, Blizzard, you told a good story. It tells a great little story, but there are problems. So this is where we're going to go into slight spoiler territory for what happens in the scenario coming up on the next reset. So if you don't want to know, here's your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Time's up. I'm now going to discuss it. What happens in a scenario on Tuesday when the Alliance attack the Undercity is the Alliance forces, unsurprisingly, prove to be too strong for the Horde. They are in Alliance territory. Alliance have everything at their disposal. They have the full armies of Stormwind, the full armies of Ironforge. They have, the bulk of their elite troops here. So the Horde can do nothing but kind of push back a little bit. And then eventually they're cornered inside the walls of the Undercity, and they try and use this Azurite machine, which they've constructed from the Azurite that they have taken. Remember when Sylvanas said the reason for attacking Teldrassil is because the Alliance will hold the Azurite? Well, she's got the Azurite. She's made it into a weapon. Anyway, never mind, by the by. But the Alliance destroy even that. She then tries to blight the area, the opening area, which drives the Alliance forces back initially. Jaina Proudmoore arrives on a flying ship, smashes into the Undercity, causes a breach, and allows the Alliance to get in and swarm through the Undercity, or I should say the ruins of Lordaeron. We don't do anything really below. The Horde do a little bit below in the Undercity, but the Alliance do everything on top, ladies. And then Sylvanas, she does like a final act. She's like, right, they're all trapped in the ruins of Lordaeron. I'm going to blight the whole thing. I'm going to blight everything. I'm going to kill everything that's here. And Saurfang is like, screw you. He's like, screw you. I am not going to be part of this dishonourable Horde. Your dishonourable Horde. I believe in the Horde. And I will fight and die here for the Horde. But I don't believe in you, and I'm not following you anymore. So, jog on, woman. And she's like, fine, do what you want. Have your honourable death. Go fight them. You know, die. Who cares? Screw you as well. And they have a little spat, and Nathanos and Sylvanas bugger off. And Saurfang has a last stand against the Alliance, which he hopes to die in and get his honourable death. The Alliance refuse to kill him. They get him down to low health, and then they say, we're not going to kill you, we're going to capture you. So where does the problem lie? The problem lies that everything that Saurfang is doing is logically correct. So I'm confused, Dad. So what's the problem? The problem is the people who feel exactly the same way as Saurfang does in the Horde can't follow suit. They can't follow the logical path. Now, there's a portion of the Horde which are going to be like, I love the fact that Sylvanas is now a complete bad guy, and I am very happy to follow her. Good on you. That's fine. That's your prerogative to do so, and they're happy to play the bad guys. But there is a huge proportion of the Horde who don't want to do that. They don't believe in what Sylvanas did was correct. They don't believe now that she should be the war chief. They are responding the way that Saurfang is responding. We want to be members of the Horde. We don't want to be members of the Alliance, but we don't want to follow this crazy-ass war chief who's doing a Garrosh 2.0. But the players don't have the choice that Saurfang has, which is to say, I'm not going to follow you anymore. So Saurfang is a logical character. He understands the stupidity of destroying Teldrassil. He begins and eventually understands that it's not the Horde that's let him down, it's the war chief that's let him down. And he still believes in all the ideologies of the Horde. But it's that figurehead which is twisting them and making them dishonourable, and therefore he can't follow suit. He leaves the Horde and refuses to fight for Sylvanas any longer, although he will fight for the Horde, not the Alliance. He's not leaving to join the other side. He's saying, I'm not fighting for you, and I'm not joining them. I'm doing this for the Horde, because I believe in the Horde. But the players have no choice. So the players have to be complicit throughout not just this scenario, but they have to be complicit all throughout 8.0, because there is nothing in 8.0 that allows you to do anything different. This is where we get to another problem with what's happening here. Again, what Saurfang is doing is very logical indeed. It makes a lot of sense. So surely to goodness, there would be the same opinions scattered throughout, huge segments, most likely, of the Horde army. Not just the troops, but also the Horde leaders. Does this seem to be a thing that Bane would support? No, absolutely not. This seems like a thing that Bane would absolutely 100% back Saurfang on. So I can't see why Bane, and therefore the Torrens, would be complicit in this either. What about Gallywix? Probably. He don't care. He's like, well, I don't care as long as I make a profit. If she's doing this and we're making money out of it, get an Azurite, sell some Azurite, make some money, I'm all good. So Gallywix, sure, you can see him remaining with Sylvanas on this one. Lorthamar Theron. Lorthamar Theron is a very political character if you've seen some of his little nuances. While all these shenanigans have been going on with the revolving door of the war chief in the Horde, Lorthamar Theron has actually been talking behind the Horde's back to the Alliance in Anduin about potentially defecting to the Alliance. So Lorthamar Theron is playing the Game of Thrones. He really is. So would Lorthamar Theron be on board with this? Well, one of the reasons why Lorthamar decided to stay with the Horde is because of the kind of treachery that the Alliance have shown towards his people, in his eyes. So this, what Sylvanas has done, to me, would certainly be ringing massive alarm bells in Lorthamar's brain. Even if he doesn't make a knee-jerk reaction and say, right, I'm out, peace, I'm out. There definitely seems to be something which would hint drastically at Lorthamar being, oh shit, I might have made the wrong decision here. And then, who else have we got? Thalisra, as regards to the Suramar elves. I don't know how deep the hatred goes between the Suramar elves and the Darker and the Night elves. It seems pretty deep. But would she condone genocide on such a high level? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Logic would dictate, even though she has problems with Tyrande and the Night Elves, if you're a member of the Alliance, you did help them out a lot during Legion. But that's just by the way. Let's just say, for argument's sake, yeah, she's okay with it because of the deep-seated hatred between the Suramar Elves and the Night Elves. You've still got a big proportion with Bane and potentially Lorthamar Theron. And Saurfang should have so much throw when it comes to the orcs. Saurfang leaving would be a big thing for the orcs. And because Saurfang's captured, word would get potentially get around. And with nothing addressed in 8.0, that's the problem. If things like this are addressed in 8.0, that would be fine. In terms of whether or not you agree or disagree with what Sylvanas did, at least things would start to happen in 8.0 that would, at least give you some option or some scale or some comprehension as to how the Horde are reacting to all this. But there is nothing. It's all just like, okay, let's trot off to Zandalar. Let's get some Zandalari trolls. Let's have a romp around a desert and some ruins. It's just nothing. There's just like nothing going on in terms of progressing that. And that is where this kind of falls apart in terms of story. When I say this, I mean Battle for Azeroth. I don't mean this cinematic. This cinematic was a gorgeous piece of art. It absolutely was stunning and sensational. So, finally, Blizzard have made a wonderful piece of story in Battle for Azeroth that does actually follow a logical progression and a character responds in a logical manner. It's just such a shame that doesn't transpire in the actual game itself. And it kind of... The whole storytelling is such a mess so far with parts 1 to this and then what happens next week. It's like this part and the next part coming up makes sense, but the first two just don't make any sense, really. And it's just a complete mess with storytelling here. But this, as a singular piece, is just absolutely fantastic and gorgeous. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.